So you join me here at Gosport Marina. It's another premier marina over in Portsmouth. I came here yesterday with a 25 knot headwind, so that was nice and bouncy. Motored all the way, I couldn't sail. And I've spent the night here. This morning is Father's Day, and my dad and my eldest daughter are on their way here by train, and we're going to have a lovely downwind sail back to Chichester, I hope. But I wanted to bring you here to show you everything that I've been doing on the boat over the last month or so, because I did a walk around before and listed off my jobs, and I've done most of them, but let's show you what we've done. So we'll start at the stern. Here she is, looking beautiful with that new anti-foul and stripe detailing I've done. But let me come to the stern, and the first thing I'll show you is that ring thing. Hopefully you can see is a pull-out emergency rope ladder, so it's nice and low. So although there's a aluminium ladder there, it's unlikely I'll be able to pull myself out of the water, and because it's clipped at the top, there's no way in the water to flip it down. So that emergency ladder you can reach up, it's within ½ a metre of the water as they specify. You pull it out and there's a tube in there, and out comes a rope ladder with some wooden steps, I think, down into the water, and I can haul myself up. Given I sail a lot on my own, I think that's a good thing to have. Let's get on board and continue the tour. Let's just have a little think. So, yes, that's a new sprocket for a new auto tiller that is wired in here. I used that for the first time yesterday, and it was fantastic, even in the rough weather. It's transformative to be able to set a course and then cling on for dear life on these bars and just reach back and adjust the course. Everything I was doing before that was manual steering. The boat, when I bought her, did have an auto tiller, but it didn't work at the point of purchase. We knew about that. I have replaced the stern light with LED and the navigation lights on the front as well. So that's all done. I have replaced my headsail sheets. They were very crusty and salty and stiff. This is lovely new line, so I look forward to using that later. The AC dot power went in before I lifted the boat, but still only a month or so old, so that's all wired in and working really, really well. The fuel tank I've checked and I've painted to stop some of the external rusting that was in place. You can see my galvanic corrosion or galvanic isolator fixed down there. The other thing in here of note is the clarifier, which is all in and working brilliantly. At the moment it's only fed by the cooling water of the engine, so after my long motor yesterday I had loads of hot water, and in fact it was still hot this morning, or warm this morning for washing up. I haven't put in the external shower, but that's an easy job, having done all this difficult stuff, so I can do that in the coming weeks. Moving back, I like to have an iPad up here, mini iPad. That's just charging at the moment, but I've put in place 2 USB charging ports so that people on the boat can charge phones or devices, but it means I can feed electricity to my iPad when underway as well, because previously I was using a battery pack, and I don't really want a battery pack, heavy battery pack, sloshing around up here. In the heads, what did I do? Replaced the toilet. I know in my video I said I might. Well, I did it, and I'm so glad I did. This one is lovely. It's just a cheap Force 4 one, but it works brilliantly, quietly, and is fantastic, and it doesn't backflush when I'm heeling over or bouncing through waves either, so that's really good. The only problem is it's made the rest of the heads look a bit shabby, so we'll have to think about how we paint that, make it look nice. I was going to replace that shower head with a better one, but actually my wife and I have decided we're not going to have this as a wet heads anymore, so that will just be used as a tap. So I may still replace it with a tap, but we're not going to have a shower, and in fact I'm going to change it so the drain goes into the bilge and remove the pump and various other things. Just simplify. The boat's too old for us to make this wet and keep it, you know, mold free. It's mold free at the moment, but yeah, lovely LED light. Moving towards the front of the boat. Let's go to the panels first. So here's my AC panel, future-proofed for an inverter and some lithium, which I do plan to put in probably in a year, but maybe a bit sooner if I can get the money together. And I'll power that with some solar. So at the moment it's just switched on to shore. I've got AC switches for my battery charger, my lead acid battery charger, my outlets, and here's the switch for the clarifier when I've wired that up. I also like to keep an eye on the current in particular. This is my temporary DC panel. I'll probably use this for a year, maybe longer. So ignore the title, this was just a spare bit of vinyl that I had. So all new switches, and they all work and are fused appropriately. A voltmeter, ammeter again, because I'm quite interested in how much current I'm drawing. At the moment I think I've got instruments and a load of lights on. We can tell here, and the water pump is charged. Yeah, you can see we're drawing 3.5 amps at 12 volts. New radio with AIS receiver. One little mistake, I bought these voltmeters so I can check batteries 1 and 2, but I think they're designed for a hot hatch. Look, they go through some silly animation of lights and then show voltage. And a cigarette lighter for my darling wife because she likes to smoke. Below the chart table I now have a nicely decorated, painted box, thermally lined as it should be, bolted in. The microwave runs off AC, so when in the marina at least I can have a quick gnocchi meal like I did last night. I don't particularly use a microwave at home, but in a boat it is very, very helpful. So that's all there, and it means I get my shoe storage area back without the microwave resting down there. I did say I put sockets in. At the moment I've put sockets here, back there for the microwave, and you'll notice these ones have got USB charger built in to minimise clutter. And I've put another charger over here, and it's just fantastic to be able to boil a kettle without extension cables going everywhere. So that's in place. In the rear cabin, I slept here a few weeks ago. We had 4 people sleep over, so this was really comfortable and big. So there is the this is the AC in, MCB and RCCD, set at 16 amps. So that's within 0.5 meter of the shore power connector as per the specs. So that's on the way to the AC panel. The DC charger AC switch comes back here, well, to here actually. So I will shorten that line. I bought a black plug, but at the moment it's a bit long, but that gives me the charger when in the marina to top up my batteries. I am still to run AC to here, and I want to run 12 volts to here, so I can have one of those Halfords kind of cool box that's actually a fridge, because it'll be nice and quiet in here, so I can put that and it won't disturb us if we're in the front cabin. So that's what that 12 volt socket will be used for. Engine's all good. I remember to burp the stern gland after putting the water back in and re-grease with the very expensive Volvo grease around where the prop shaft goes into the stern gland, so that's all done. I repaired with the appropriate clip on the gear lever control, because if you watch the last video or one of the earlier videos, you'll see that the cable came off the lever and I was stuck in a head. That was a bit exciting. There's my auto tiller waiting to go on later. And what else? Right, replaced all the lights as I said I would with more of these domey ones, and yes, at night it's now fantastic. So I can turn them off individually, but at least it's laterally bright. It's not just spot bright like the last one. Plus there's this white red light fitted up here for looking at charts and instruments and things. Everything else, what else have I done? Just tidied up, put these lights in, just to try and get her nice and tidy. And that is probably it. Feels like there's lots more I should say, but no, that's probably it. So she is really, well, completely ready for cruising this summer, and then there's a few extra little jobs that I'll do along the way. I hope you enjoyed the boat tour. Thanks for watching.